And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker. Yo, what up, what up, what up with it? What up this week? I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. And yes, I do have my boy, Sage the Mark. What up?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.
We're here live
What's
from a
good,
very
Biggs?
snowy day. Would you consider it
Yeah,
cold or just snowy?
that's a good question, man. Because I still was out there in my flip flops. So for me, if I can still wear my flip flops, it's not really cold. So it's a snowy day.
So for those of y'all listening, y'all know we do the show from San Antonio. And today, when we record this, it's a Thursday. Thursday Night Football's on. And it's the first day in 30 plus years that we've had snow on the ground. And I'm not talking about like some flurries. I'm talking about snow that actually stuck. Enough snow, sort of, to where you could build a snowman. I've seen on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that some bootleg snowmen that have been built. I went out in my backyard and I decided to throw some snowballs around with the fam, took the little ones outside, and I picked up frozen dog shit and I went right back inside. I forgot that I hadn't picked up any dog feces in a long time, and I picked up some frozen dog shit, and it wasn't fresh, so that's a good thing. And I freaked out and went back inside.
You nasty, bro. You nasty.
Yep. So yeah, it's a great night for us in San Antonio. We haven't seen snow. We're not used to. For our listeners out there in the Northeast, in England, Kyle Dean, all you guys, we're not used to it. It's something that's different for all of us, but it's awesome. I heard the sirens going a minute ago. We're obviously gonna have a lot of car accidents. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be going to work tomorrow because those of y'all don't know, San Antonio is not built for this. So the city shuts down until it warms back up.
That's right.
But I think tomorrow's supposed to be in like the 50s and 60s. It's supposed to be a beautiful day.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the snow, when I went out there about 30 minutes ago, looked like it was starting to melt. So it's going to be interesting, man. And for all those who work in the office but have laptops to go home and work on days like this, I hope y'all left y'all's laptops at work so you guys can enjoy the day. You know what I'm saying?
That's the plan. Well, before we get into this week, I gotta ask. I think I could be wrong. It just got released, I think, an hour ago. Did you see the new Jurassic World trailer?
I saw bits and pieces of the Jurassic World trailer. Didn't see the whole thing. I need to go that. I should have prefaced it, or not prefaced. I should have rebutted and say, "Hey, have you seen The Punisher yet?"
I have not. I have a lot of time on my hands in December, so my 100% plan is to finish Stranger Things. And I've heard, and I haven't even started Stranger Things. I'm like 2 episodes in. What I saw was good. From what I heard, I haven't seen Daredevil, but from what I've heard, I don't have to see anything else to watch The Punisher.
You don't. Season 2 of The Punisher gives you a little bit of a backstory. And it's more revolves around Frank Castle than it does the Punisher. But the way that they did it, Frank Castle is just as great as the Punisher is. So it's an added bonus, man. It is. Anyone who hasn't seen the Punisher, I would dare to say just skip to Daredevil season 2 and watch that through, and then watch Daredevil. It's like having 2 seasons of Daredevil, and it's amazing.
Say what up, Mel Johnson. I know Mel Johnson's one of our routine listeners. We do this live every Thursday night. I know that brother's braving the cold. I know he's out there seeing the snow, eating some yellow snow while he's at it. Yeah, I got to check out The Punisher, man. I've heard great things. I've heard it's its own standalone. If I have seen all of the other Marvel series on Netflix, and it's good. If I haven't seen it, it's good. So Stranger Things and The Punisher are on my definitive to-do list. The Jurassic World trailer I watched, it's a stupid story. It's real dumb. So the story behind it is, and I'll tell you, this is from the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything. So they released a trailer to the trailer like a week or two ago, and it was like a 5-second clip of him with the little dinosaur that's named Blue, by the way. They name it in this new trailer. New trailer, I think it got released tonight during the NBA on TNT. 76ers and Lakers are playing. And I watched it. Bro, you know what it's about?
Nope.
It's about the island. Remember, you saw the most recent Jurassic World, right?
Yeah. One with the Velociraptors.
Yeah. At the end, and the T-Rex and all that stuff coming back, and the super T-Rex thing.
Yeah.
So they leave the
T-Rex.
The super, like the genetically made super dinosaur.
Yep.
So this story is, remember they left the island and they were like, the hell with it. The dinosaurs can live on that island for all I care. So there's a volcano on that island that's about to erupt. So they're going to save a bunch of the dinosaurs. Then obviously they get stranded again. And then you have another Jurassic Park movie.
Damn. Is it starring Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, he's back. Or no, he's not back, but yeah, he's in it. He's in the trailer and everything.
Wow.
But is this, and we'll get into this in a little bit because we've had a good week of wrestling versus last week. Kane and Roman Reigns just didn't do it for us. So my point is, we talk about it in wrestling, and you could find people hating on it on Twitter and social media. It's lazy booking. You've said it before, lazy booking, lazy writing. So Jurassic World, that could be, hey, look, there's a lot of money to be made with this show or with this movie, tons of it. We've got Chris Pratt, who's a big name in Hollywood right now. I don't care what the story is. What do you mean? I don't know. We'll just have a volcano blowing up and you got to go save the dinosaurs. More importantly, Blue is like this little baby dinosaur. It's cute, like baby Groot that he wants to go save.
I am Groot.
You're telling me you're going to make this big blockbuster, huge movie about, man, we got to go save this little dinosaur. So I saw that and was like, I'm going to see the movie, don't get me wrong. But it's just a big budget movie. The story looks kind of silly and bad booking. That's what it is. Bad booking right there. Bad writing.
Is Chris Pratt in it?
Yeah, he's still the lead guy.
Okay. All right. And I'll go see Howard. I'll go see one of his movies anytime, man. It's, I was the last Saturday I was at some family's house, and we were just sitting around watching Bloodsport, and then right after Bloodsport, Police Academy, and we were just talking, and I was just thinking to myself, man. Well, I wasn't thinking to myself. I said it out loud, of course, but it's great to have those movies where you can just literally just shut off your brain and just have a good time. Like, they don't make movies like that anymore. It's all about the visual effects and whatnots and how pretty it looks and big budget this. But gone are the days where it was just a good old fashioned, old school action, shoot 'em up, or comedy where you just turn off your brain and just have fun, man. We need more of those moments. Yeah, it reminds me of Action Jackson, Carl Weathers. Yeah. If y'all get a chance, go check out that. A car's about to hit him, and he jumps and does I think 3 or 4 flips over the car. If you remember the movie, it's back when Apollo Creed was in his prime in the action world. That's right, Action Jackson. So we got a wrestling podcast Brown.
here.
What was the girl's name? Something Brown. Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. Yeah. Yeah, movies were great back then. They've taken a hit. I don't often see any movie I say, man, that movie was great. Outside of like some Oscar obvious movies. So this week in wrestling, where do you want to start? Was there? Okay, well, we'll start with anything not Raw or SmackDown related. NXT, anything outside the ring. I think we talked briefly about TNA last week.
Yes. Just a couple of things, man. One's more of a debate than anything else, but I did catch NXT this week, and I have to say that the main event was amazing. Johnny Gargano versus Cassius Ohno, one hell of a match, and it kind of seems, just the way that they're formulating things, that Johnny Gargano might actually make a push for the title. They're doing a tournament right now, but it looks like they're getting behind him. And shout out to Ryan Rogan 165 and Kiki's 423 on Instagram, showing us some love on the live feed there. But yeah, man, that's pretty good, man. You should go check it out. But I don't think last week we talked about Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks proclamation to fill 10,000 seats, did we?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So apparently they got the funding and they put up their own money, got the funding and financing to do a stadium, or not a stadium, but to put on a show with 10,000 attendees, I should say.
Jeez.
Which is pretty big for independent promotion and independent
That's
stage.
huge.
Yeah, it's freaking huge. Can't help but to think that was kind of a direct challenge between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns a couple months back. But needless to say, that is happening. It is confirmed. We haven't been given any details in terms of like who's going to be booked, which is really the question I want to pose to you. But all we know is that it's confirmed that they do have, plans to do a 10,000 seated show. So with that being said, man, my question to you, Goose, is you're going to have at least 2 or 3 main draws to make this work.
Right.
Who do you think is big enough mainstay, a big enough name to help Cody and the Young Bucks fulfill this? And 2, when do you think it will actually occur?
So we'll say there's 2 options. And then I'll say it would have to be either A, WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans, because that's where every wrestling fan is in the world is anyways, and you could do it the Friday before WrestleMania. So that way, at the end of the day, all it does is take away a couple of people from the Hall of Fame. So that way you're not competing with the NXT before WrestleMania, and you're definitely not going to do it on that Sunday or Monday. So I think that could happen. That's the easy route. But what I would think they would do is maybe something a little bit before WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is kind of the end of the year, per se, in the wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I think, hasn't Daniel Bryan and a few other guys said their contracts are coming up? I was listening to the Edge and Christian podcast with Dolph Ziggler, which is a great podcast, by the way, because it's good, man. I recommend that podcast to anybody. And Dolph said, yeah, his contract's coming up very, 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 very shortly. And he didn't hate on the WWE. He just said, he's going to reevaluate, what he really wants to do. So if Daniel Bryan and Dolph can do it, I would think they'd have to do something to be able to sell out or to get 10,000 people. I would think Brooklyn, Philly, Jersey, all that area, because I think, I don't know much about the area, but I think all those fans could be at a stadium within an hour and a half. And you just do a Friday night or a Saturday night show.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have, assuming you can't, everybody that's on WWE rosters is on WWE rosters. I'd say they'd have to, for sure, have Kenny Omega versus maybe Okada, but that's kind of been done. But Kenny Omega has to be on the card in a singles match. Same thing with Marty Scurll and the full Bullet Club, for that fact. And they may just have to throw a bunch of money at Jericho and CM Punk. I'm assuming Jericho's a free agent because he's obviously fighting next month in NJPW. And you're going to have to bring over some NJPW guys. But see, they can't do a 10,000 crowd show with all nothing but old WWE guys, because then you'd just be watching TNA. So,
I don't know, man. WCW got away with it.
but they got the biggest names in their prime.
Yeah, this is true.
Hogan was just coming out of his prime, but then they got Hall Nash, X Pac, Luger Rude. They got a lot of these guys. That would be in the perfect world, you get John Cena versus Kenny Omega, but that's not going to happen. So I'd just say, I guess they're just going to have to throw a ton of money at CM Punk for a one-off. Would you say CM Punk's mandatory though?
I kind of think he is, man. Aside from Daniel Bryan, and I honestly think it would be in their best interest to pull the trigger as soon as his contract is up. Thinking that he probably has a no-compete clause, so non-compete clause, which will probably bar him from 6 to 9 months. Afterwards, we're probably looking towards like sometime in September, October, if they wait. I agree with you. The time to pull the trigger would be WrestleMania weekend, but I think if you're holding out and you're making a super show for 10,000, and you want to make sure that you're recouping your money that you put down on things.
Oh yeah,
you got to get CM Punk. You've got to get CM Punk. You can get Daniel Bryan. Hopefully, I would even go as far as to say maybe even getting Aaron Rex, and Will Ospreay.
Yeah, just loading up on a bunch of those guys.
Yeah,
Zack Sabre Jr. and
Zack Sabre Jr. and bringing them in and just tear it down. 3 hours. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's a lot of people, a lot of show, a lot of fillers. Man, I'm excited. 2018 is going to be a great year for wrestling. It's going to be very
in general. Yeah, I agree. And to answer in the chat, old Silky Mel Johnson, who was the NXT Superstar of the Year? My brother, you'll have to tune in to the show in about when we do our second annual IRWP Awards.
That's right.
That's a great category, by the way. And yes, ROH is right behind, is backing up Cody Rhodes. He's actually the heavyweight champ out there. And ROH and NJPW, their talent, with the exception of the Asian talent, are pretty much one and the same. Is that a Browns hoodie that you're wearing?
It's Browns-esque. Let me see if I can get it up there.
Well, I'll yeah, you're definitely right about that. Yeah, it is pretty much a Brown. Josh Gordon looked good last week.
Not good enough for a W.
Defense kind of defense kind of slowed it down. Well, good props to the Bullet Club and Cody Rhodes. I truly do think by the end of his career, he will be in the WWE again and be a bigger name than ever, and be an example of, that you can go out and do your own thing, and hopefully encourages some other guys to go do it. Carl Anderson did it. So there's, I think that's pretty awesome. Jinder Mahal is another example. A guy who was gone for a brief period of time. So what else? What else happened outside of the ring? Outside of the ring that I can't think of much in the past week, right?
Not really. Haven't heard any rumblings from anyone. It's kind of minor, but it's kind of odd at the same time. Bring It to the Table got canned and replaced with a Corey Graves special that basically does the same thing but is more controlled. And it's in a one-on-one environment. I can't remember what the name of that show is per se, but I thought it was kind of interesting that they put the kibosh on it, man.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, figured it's a pretty cheap show to make. They already have the cameras and everything. I don't know what production costs are or anything like that, but that stinks. I mean, I thought Bring It to the Table was pretty good considering it was only on once every other month.
Yeah, once every other month, or maybe once a month we would get it, and I thought that they were hot as well.
Yeah, fresh for sure.
Yeah, just I mean, Talking Smack was hot too, man, and we saw what happened to that, man.
Maybe they just become too real.
I think that's what it is, man. I know that they're really sticklers about people getting themselves over, which is kind of I'm so disappointed in that because, like, I get it, but like if in a normal 9 to 5 job, man, your job is your job is to do your job, but your job to yourself is to get yourself over by getting yourself developed, like to get to that next level, right? You can't rely on your manager, or you can't rely on other people to do it for you because it's not really in their best interest until under them, and by that time it's usually too late. So I mean I try to apply that philosophy to wrestling, as well. Like you have to create your opportunities, and I feel like Vince McMahon just kind of when he was on the Stone Cold podcast, Stone Cold drilled him to this point saying, basically what do they need to do? And he was saying that, well, no one wants to grab the brass rings, which I interpret as no one wants to take the initiative to develop their own selves, their own characters. But when they do, they get shelved or they get in trouble, or you don't see them for like 5 to 6 weeks. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's a business. I don't know because they're worried
But
about
if your
you owning
job
the
is to
intellectual.
develop these talents and get them to the next level and you don't do it, really is it to get them over? Because if you wait for somebody else to do it, the customer.
Yeah, I don't know. Out there, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. There's a lot that goes on. I mean, yeah, I have no idea. And especially with social media, like Zack Ryder, he got himself over.
Yeah. And it took him like 6 years to get the Intercontinental title afterwards, man. Only to lose it the next night. I just
Oh,
I
God,
don't I don't get it, man. Like I don't like I just think that the whole notion of having a creative team that doesn't do a great job and the talent knowing that they're not doing a great job and they go and take the initiative to get themselves over with gimmicks of their own. Like I don't understand how it can be viewed as a bad thing. Like right around
yeah.
that. Like that's your job, right around it. Don't get upset with someone who's trying to essentially keep their job, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep themselves relevant any way that they can, because now they have more of the tools to do it now than they ever had, to get themselves in the spotlight, to get catchphrases going, to
Maybe more bad than good comes of it, though. Like if I said, Sage, you're going to go out here and you're going to lose tonight, something off script, and you're just trying to get yourself over. I wonder if more often than not, like people try to go off script because obviously WWE is a TV show. I think it'd be as 99.9% on script as possible. So, prime example, put her engagement ring online. She was teaming up with Dolph Ziggler at the time. Rusev was even feuding with him. And she put the wedding ring up with a picture of her and Rusev, and WWE kind of killed that angle. So it's stuff like that where wrestlers don't. I know that that's personal, I get it, but it's just an example of bad. Like if you go out and cut a promo on social media yourself, which could be done your cell phone and uploaded in 20 seconds.
Yep.
And you cut a really bad promo, or you say something that's just completely overboard, or you say something dumb like, oh, once we get in the ring, I'm gonna take advantage of you, like all these sexual predators in Hollywood. So I wonder if they like to have ultimate control over everything because there's just more bad than good. Like there's more, or maybe it's 50-50.
That just puts their talent under the expendable category. Like, I mean, and a lot of these cats, like this is their dream job. This is what they've always wanted to do. And they come here and they're basically at the mercy of somebody else. And if that person doesn't like you, guess what? You're not going to be written into the show whatsoever. I mean, at what point do you try to take control of that situation? I mean, uh, should we treat it as a business, or should we treat it differently from a business?
Well,
Because
maybe that's why NXT works so well, because those guys change gimmicks and names. You
them to
still
do that,
what's that?
and they're given the freedom to do that. How many times did Tyler
Yeah.
Black change his persona, or Prince Pretty changed his persona, or Sasha Banks?
Yeah.
She went through like 3 different gimmicks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at Andrade Cien Almas. He was like the rich Mexican guy debuting, the Pride of Mexico guy, like what, year and a half, 2 years ago. And now he's the polar opposite of that. And he's got a hot valet. So yeah, and Jason Jordan changes.
Yeah. Those are formulas. I think that's a formula. That's a good formula to give your talent give them an opportunity to try to do something better than just executing in the ring.
It is what made the Attitude Era so great. As long as they can keep it PG show, it is what made the Attitude Era so great. So as long as you tell them, hey, look, for our sponsors, don't say anything bad about them. You could talk about the sponsors as much as you want. Don't say anything bad. Don't cuss. If you think it might offend somebody the wrong way or it's controversial, err on the side of caution and don't say it. And you probably would get better promos. Or if they just said, and you could listen to podcasts. I know I don't work. I'm no insider. I'm no dirt sheet guy or anything like that. But you could listen to all sorts of wrestling podcasts, and they'll tell you that it's fairly scripted. Jericho, a couple others, that they say, all right, listen, you're fighting Ben Goosen tonight. You're going to cut a 12-minute promo. Keep it right to 12 minutes. I need you to talk about him last week, how he's a coward, and you can't wait to fight him at Clash of Champions. And throw in some comedy bits. Thanks. 4 hours before you got to go out there, come up with something. Like, that would be, I know for damn sure they're not telling John Cena what to say. Their appearances. Probably not even Paul Heyman, but those guys are the exception to the rule, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I wish they would give him more freedom to just about do anything. They have earlier, you have a wealth of tools that don't cost money to help get people over or to help a controversy or something like that. Like Baron Corbin was talking trash to The Miz on his Twitter account. He'd post videos bad-mouthing The Miz, and Miz would bad-mouth him back. But there wasn't anything other than, I'm going to beat you this week. I'm going to prove I'm superior to you and stuff like that. Things that could happen for free just to somebody's cult following, Use them all. Pay wrestlers $20 a tweet and see how much they'll really work at that point to get themselves over.
That's for sure.
They should pay them per tweet. Hey, every tweet that you say, because, I mean, think about it. If they say a tweet that's bad, you'll get in trouble for it or get fired. So pay them for the good ones that help put them over. Not much.
I agree.
$5-10.
I mean, that's their job, man. You're trying to push shirts and merch sales and stuff like that. Give them the opportunity to develop themselves. I'm pretty sure that the creative team didn't come up with "It's Rusev Day."
Oh yeah. No.
And now my homeboy's got an actual shirt. Just saying, man. Give them an opportunity to.
So speaking of Rusev, let's get into SmackDown. See a lot happened. I think this week in wrestling was good. I thought Raw was actually better than SmackDown, to be honest with you. New Day kicked off SmackDown when you speak of Rusev versus Aiden English and Rusev, and surprisingly, the guys who I thought were definitively going to lose, because they've kind of turned into jobbers lately. Aiden English won. They got the dub over the New Day.
Man, you saw you heard the chants of Rusev Day. Rusev just going
Rusev Day.
That's my boy, man. I'm so happy for both of them, man. Both of them have come from obscurity and have just of themselves, and I can't be more proud of them. As did you know that Aiden English is married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter?
Really?
Didn't know
No,
that,
I
man.
had no idea.
Yeah, that shocked me too. Um,
Wow, no, that's interesting.
yeah. So, but yeah, SmackDown it was a good show. The tag team division right now is pretty stacked, and I'm enjoying it. I'm also enjoying that vignette, or not vignette, but when they show like who's gonna fight at Clash of the Champions, and they show the video package of it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
notice, it's a podium with all the previous tag team belts up to the new one. It's
Oh no,
amazing, bro.
I didn't know that. Nice.
Yeah. Whoever's been doing those little promos or those little video packages for the pay-per-views for the past 6 months, they've been on point, man. It's little things like that that it takes very appreciative of that, man. Just something new, something fresh, and I love that, man. The Hell in a Cell one was pretty good too, when pulling back the skull, and yo, I live for that. I live for that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It was good. So what did you think of what was it at the I think it was at the very, very end. Yeah, it was Nakamura coming to save Randy Orton. That was kind of interesting, right?
Not really, man. I mean,
No?
they paired these guys up for the past two on and off the past 2 months.
Yeah, just common enemy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ultimately I think that's going to turn into a feud until Royal Rumble. Well, until probably after Royal Rumble.
What, like Orton
Kind
turning on
of plan.
Nakamura? Or?
Yeah, him turning on Nakamura. It'll probably happen between I would say Fastlane to WrestleMania to give him something to do. But I think that's kind of why they're pairing them together so much, is just for us to get familiar with them, and then the turn actually happens, and then both of them got something to do until WrestleMania. So I'm okay with that, man. I am intrigued though with the storyline with Kevin Owens, and, Daniel Bryan, and Shane McMahon. I don't know about you, man, but I'm feeling like DB is going back on that no train pretty soon.
Yeah, I wonder. I still don't think he's going to wrestle, but maybe we'll get a heel Daniel Bryan. That'd be a nice little change up. Like he'll be good in whatever role he does. But it'd just be a nice. It's kind of like they're planting the seeds. There's like a mini civil war between Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
They're starting to disagree a little bit. Daniel Bryan's starting to question why things are happening. So, yeah, I think I'm curious to see where that's going to go. One thing I didn't like, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, and I don't think they explained it. When Kevin Owens left and let Sami Zayn get beat up in the middle of the ring last week, took an RKO, but I know he got beat up in the middle of the ring, and they didn't really touch on it this week. Wish they would have. Maybe that's just me being picky, but I really like Sami Zayn, his character being kind of like a jester. Like he's still a lot of people when they turn heel, all serious, wearing suits or whatever, the extra heat. But no, he still comes out rocking the jacket, the paperboy hat, the music, no music change, and he's just 10 times sillier to the point where he's annoying. But that's a good heel. Like he's
Check.
silly. He's a jester.
Double check.
He needs to get some wins because he's lost a lot lately, and he's gotten beaten up a lot lately.
Triple check.
Right? Like him and Kevin Owens could get some real heat, but Sammy
dude, this Sami Zayn is amazing, man. I absolutely am loving a heel Sami Zayn. Homeboy comes out acting nonchalant, doing his little ska dance in slow motion, flinging it around from left to right. Homie's he knows what he's doing. He's just there to disrupt the system. He don't care about anybody and nobody. And you know what? Homeboy might get fed up with Kevin Owens leaving him out to dry, always having to save. We don't know. We might end up seeing Kevin Owens turn face. We don't know. But all I do know is Sami Zayn, heel, money.
Yeah, it's working. They need to, and he can go in the ring. He could have good matches. He could turn it up a notch with the heel moves and stuff like that. He dives over the top ropes and suicide dives and all that. So I'm sure he could turn it up. You know, how far and where he ends up going. Still kind of miss Dolph Ziggler. Haven't seen him on SmackDown in a bit. Maybe he's got some time off or injured or something.
Yeah.
He also said on the podcast that I'm off pretty soon. Have much more SmackDown? It was those were kind of the key points, right?
Yeah, not much else was going on with
Definitely
with
digging the
SmackDown.
Riot Squad. Absolution.
Yeah, definitely like them over Absolution, which we're about to. We're going to get into that in deep discussion and do a little. We're going to talk about that. I'm still loving me some Bludgeon Brothers. I love the fact that they got some. Oh,
yes, I don't have to deep push anyone.
Yeah, when they went out of the ring and that jobber was like shaking his boots, that shit was hilarious, man. Yo, I'm slowly coming around to the finisher. I'm becoming a fan, and I think it's the way that they set it up this week was a lot better than they did beforehand. Because I think beforehand it was just splash in the turnbuckle, pick up, and then put him in the crucifix, razor's edge, slam, and 1, 2, 3. But this week they put a little package together and finished it off. So I think it's still a work in progress, but I'm definitely still enjoying the Bludgeon Brothers. I know I'm in the minority, but they got a new outfits,
matching outfits too. Yeah,
matching outfits. Harper looks like amazing, like in some great shape. Rowan doesn't look like a jobber anymore. Like he looks like a legit, credible threat. On that train, bro.
So let's get into what you just mentioned. Might as well get right into it. So while we jump into Raw, so what did you want to talk about? What are your thoughts with Absolution?
So last week I told you that I was a little concerned with the fact that the Riot Squad had already had a match, maybe a match and a half under their belt, and that Absolution didn't, which to me signified that maybe Paige wasn't ring ready. And so before I get into it, Goose, I want to hear from you what you felt how Paige did in the ring.
So I liked on SmackDown that Ruby Riott, the kind of the voice of the crew. I thought her mic skills were on point. And then when I look at Sasha, I thought it was a bit sloppy. I guess about it is that I'm pretty pumped that Sonya Deville, aka Daria Argento, is on the main roster. 'Cause after we went to NXT last year, you know, I was ranting and raving about her. But yeah, I figured it'll probably take Paige. I think it may take a while for her to get back into some ring shape, but I super happy she's back. And I don't know, it wasn't a great match by any means. Definitely wasn't, you know, the most amazing match. See, a little less than average. Wasn't great, but I'll get back into it.
Yeah, it was definitely the worst card of the night. But I mean, Sasha made it work and made it believable. So I got to give I got to give a shout out to Sasha because she did a phenomenal job selling. She did a phenomenal job leading that match. It's a testament as to why she's still highly regarded as one of the best workers in the women's division. But as far as Paige is concerned, I still feel like it was a mistake to bring her in the ring right now because you could just tell she was not comfortable at all being in the ring.
Yeah, it's
She
going to take a
just
while. Been out a year and a
yeah,
half, right?
it's definitely gonna take a while, but I honestly don't want to see Paige wrestle until she's like at least halfway like ready, like truly ready, the ring psychology ready, and she just doesn't have it right now. She's probably the weakest of the three in the ring, in the faction, the group right now, which is not a good sign, man.
Wow. I haven't seen the other two wrestle recently. I've seen Sonya wrestle, but that was January. So I'm pumped to see her actually get some one-on-one time. I think a little mini women's stable. Um, I mean, to say that they had the worst match on Raw, I would say is fairly true. Granted, Raw had some really good matches.
Yeah, it did. Like all the matches on Raw were great, and I'm not saying that one was a terrible match. It just wasn't. It could have been a whole lot better had they waited. Like Sasha versus Paige is literally a pay-per-view match for one thing.
I definitely agree with you there.
And I think that it would have been forgivable if Paige were to go against like Alicia Fox or against Bailey. Like even Bailey would have been. It's a bit of a stretch, but a lot better than her going through Sasha. Sasha just was working too much, too much, too overtime much, and that's not really how it should work. So unless you're Roman Reigns, where you let Jason Jordan do all the work.
Oh man, Jason Jordan looked clean. That was Jason Jordan's fought every big name on, and he's lost all of them. But man, this was a hell of a match.
Oh man, this was better than the first. And the first one was great. Their first match against each other was great, and this one was turned. At the beginning of the show, people were booing the hell out of him.
Yeah, dude's got heat. Great heat.
Yeah, but in that match, he earned the respect of a lot of people, man. And hands down, man, he's phenomenal, man. I mean, we all gripe about his acting and things like that, but like, I'm actually digging it, man. Like they made all the stories connect to one another, and I'm game.
Yeah, I agree. I liked what I saw. I like that he's starting to get heat. I think the plans. I would think it's for him to be heel, or maybe they just said let's see where it goes. But I think he could be a big heel. When you're a really big heel, it makes the face turn that much better. He can go in the ring, and he's throwing out comments here, on the sly. That's helping with his mic skills. He's getting a little bit of mic time here and there. Nothing, he's not going to kick off Raw with a 10, 15-minute promo or anything like that. But man, great match. Really, really good match. Matches I didn't really care for. I think there was a couple random matches there, here and there, but I loved that cruiserweight, that 4-way. Tons of spots. Yeah, it was good. Tons of spots, but it really showcased the cruiserweight division. Because on Raw, they obviously do all these, your favorite, the 6-man cruiserweight tag every week, just so they could showcase as many of them as possible. And this accomplished it.
Yeah, it was completely amazing. I mean, this is the reason why I watch 205 Live, and it's sad that they kind of regressed from, because this used to be 205 Live like all the time, those types of matches like all the time, 3 matches during the hour, and they were all just spectacular like that. And then they've just kind of like devolved into like just gimmicks and just another hour of Raw basically. But When you let them go
Yeah.
and you give them time to wrestle, like this is what you get. And it was amazing, man. Like it was just amazing, man. I don't know which was. I know that everybody harps or not harps, but everybody glamors about the Spanish fly from the top rope, and that was great. Really loved the ring psychology that every single one of them had, especially like Drew Gulak. Um, I love the fact that he won. Like it just, dude. I don't even know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, is the money run versus or is the money really Zoe and Drew Gulak?
Yeah.
Like if I want, for me, I would want to try to convince, like pull a Hogan. Like I want to see him pull a Hogan and tell him to lay down for him, man. Like Jeff Jarrett laid down for Hogan.
Yeah.
And I want to see. I just want to see Drew kick out, bro. I just, and then get that PowerPoint presentation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was pumped for it. Raw was good. I think, obviously, based on the ending, going to go with the Bar and Joe versus the Shield, right? Pretty safe to say.
The Bar and Joe versus the Shield. Yeah.
Because they're in the long term. Remember, they don't have a pay-per-view coming up for a while.
True. So they'll probably end up dragging that out a little bit. I think that Ambrose and Rollins will eventually turn on Roman. I've got
Rollins
this.
has already done it, or Ambrose
Yes,
has already
but
done it.
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna make Roman to be the bad guy because, like, people are interfering in his match, and like at no point did he try to help them. He was focused on Joe, and that was it. And basically, I mean, kind of costed them the match, man. I mean, I think we might see a couple more of those, man. If we see repeat matches for the tag team match and Roman just is inserting himself continuously on it, I feel like they're going to go down the path where they're going to turn on him. And I don't know, man. We might get the Wild Samoans after all. I don't know. Could.
The Wild Samoans.
Yeah, man. We get Joe and Roman together, and then we'll have to find another random Samoan somewhere.
But Reigns is not going heel anytime soon.
I don't know, man. I think 2018 might actually be the year where they do it. Like, and it might just be temporary until like SummerSlam or something like that. But to me, that's where the money would be, man. You don't have to treat him like.
We've said that about John Cena for 15 years. Like, oh man, they're going to turn him heel, and they never did. So surely they won't do it with Roman Reigns.
I feel like that's the smart play to do, man. You're probably right. It may not happen, but you're gonna have to get them out of the Shield mentality somehow. And what
turn, man?
Better way?
It's Ambrose's turn to go heel. He hasn't been heel in a long time.
I feel like that's the foil. Like that's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that Ambrose is the one who's going to turn. And maybe he will. But to see both him and Rollins turn on Roman, saying that, hey, you keep getting in our stuff. You're supposed to be helping us, and yet you're holding us back. Boom, powerbomb. Let's go.
Yeah. So I want to get to something that we forgot to talk about. Somebody we got to give props to here in a bit. Was there anything else on Raw you wanted to touch on?
One last thing, man.
Good crowd this week.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the deletion.
That's exactly one of the 2 points.
All right, before we'll end with that. Let's just one thing that I noticed, so I watched the live version and I watched the Hulu version because I was curious about something with all this stuff going on with Finn Balor about him not being over. I was just curious to see with all the great action that happened if they were going to cut his match from Hulu. And I just had this sneaking suspicion that they were going to. And sure enough, his match, although it was a great match, his match was cut from Hulu Plus, bro.
Dallas. When was the last time Bo Dallas had a match on Hulu in general?
That match, every time he's been on there, I've seen him wrestle. Like that's the only time that I usually ever see Bo Dallas, and he usually fights in the second hour or so. And I've seen him, and that was a phenomenal match, man. And I get that it wasn't, and maybe they cut it because it wasn't part of like everything that was on TV aside from that match was part of a major storyline. So maybe that's the reason why they cut it. But
True.
I kind of just something to watch, man. I know that Finn, I know he's a troll, but behind some trolls, you know, there's a truth to honesty to some of the things that they say and that they do. And I'm just wondering if he feels like it's his time. I don't know. Maybe he'll be posing with the Young Bucks pretty soon.
Make a ton of money if he went independent. Woken Matt Hardy was awesome. He's officially woken Matt Hardy. The fans, that's why they had a great crowd this week. The fans loved it. They popped for it huge. The in-ring debut of woken Matt Hardy.
I think we'll probably like the Royal Rumble. I don't think we'll get.
You think they'll let the promos do the work for a while?
You kind of have to, man. Like Bray, like when Bray wrestles on public TV, like on Raw, it doesn't translate very well. But when he's on pay-per-views, they mean more, even though he takes losses on the majority of them. But I think that like you don't make this like a rubber match kind of thing. You literally make this battles, and wars. Maybe try to like one up each other on one-on-one matches with other people, and they interfere here and there, or just do something crazy, man. Shout out to Vanguard interrupting what's his name's promo, Bray Wyatt's promo, and they give him my boy creative control to do what he needs to do to get this over. Best news ever, man. Let Matt Hardy work. Just let him work. He's got an eye for the business.
WWE could screw up that stuff, just like they did when the poison that was the NWO stuff.
Gonna inject poison. I'm going to kill.
But I hope that it ends up with a fight either at the Hardy complex or the Wyatt compound. Like that's ultimately what I'm definitely hoping for an like they did with the Final Deletion and the New Day at the Wyatt's compound, or Randy Orton at the Wyatt house, or Sister Abigail's house, or whatever it was. Go that route.
This has last until WrestleMania. They've got to let it last until WrestleMania.
This feud is not going to last. That's 5 months from now. They can't have a feud last that long.
They got to make it last until WrestleMania, man, because there will be nothing more joyous. And as soon as we start getting to that point, everybody's going to ask for it because we all want it. Rebby, King Maxwell, Senor Benjamin, but more importantly, Rebby Sky on that piano playing Matt Hardy's music. That's what we need. That's a WrestleMania moment right there, man. Grand piano, son.
Yeah, it could either which way. It's not. You're definitely you'll have a Matt Hardy match at WrestleMania, but you're definitely not having a Bray Wyatt feud last 5 months. 4 months. What is it, in April? Yeah, 5 months.
Dude, they had like a 4-month thing with Daniel Bryan. They can make this last until then, son.
Well, they did, but
Just
it's because Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton joined the Wyatts.
the
Matt
thing that
Hardy's not
sucks
going to
is
join the Wyatts.
it sucks because there's no Bray Wyatt
Hardy
family. Like, there's really no family. So if you had the family, you could prolong it a little bit more. But
yeah, Matt Hardy needs to have an awesome match, WrestleMania, and an awesome entrance. He's definitely, as in Matt Hardy, he's definitely got to get wins, right, to make the character work.
I don't think so. I don't. He has to win all the time. You maybe it just becomes too much where he needs the assistance of Brother Nero and let Brother Nero fight a couple of fights with Bray Wyatt, and then you gotta do something crazy.
He can't lose as much as Dolph Ziggler, put it that way, or as much as have some W's, especially right out the gate. Big change, right? Yeah.
Double check.
About Sami Zayn is because he doesn't get. He hasn't had very many wins. Definitely, I can't even remember the last time he had a single win since he turned heel.
I had one last month.
Oh, okay. At least he's gotten a couple here and there.
Roll up pins.
I didn't have anything else.
I mean, that's it, man. It was definitely a solid week of wrestling. This week was truly like a wrestling show, and I completely enjoyed it. You actually let the wrestlers, and lo and behold,
yes,
they got over.
Yeah, Raw had a lot of long matches.
Yeah, a lot of long matches, and it works, man. It's good formula. And that's all you got to do. Just let them wrestle, let them do their thing, and good things will happen, man. Good things will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick before we wrap up the show, just Johnson.
Man, I'm so sad, man. Yeah, shout outs to Jim Johnston, man. And for me personally, I've like, without Jim Johnston, there wouldn't be any WWE. And I think a lot of people like underestimate how big his influence was on just everything, man. This dude has done all of your favorite themes, all of them. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Nation of Domination, Mr. Perfect, Money Inc., and the list goes on and on and on and on. It's just, and even the Baron Corbin theme song, which is amazing. It's just, it's sad that they chose not to renew his contract for lower paying talent CFO, which I don't know, man. I don't get it.
CFO's doing good.
Well, they're doing all right. They ain't doing great, man. It took them try to do Baron Corbin's theme song the right way, and that's why they had to get Jim Johnston allegedly to redo the music. And I mean, they've only got really 2 or 3 good hits that people actually clamor to. So I don't know if I would call that a success, but to Jim Johnston. But I will say that I seriously hope that WWE takes the Warrior Award at least this year, and give it to it how the Warrior actually wanted it to be given to, for all the people that are behind the scenes doing the work, making sure these people get over by using their talents, whether it's from camera angles or putting up theme songs that actually personify what actually is. And Jim Johnston, definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I can't stress that enough. Jim Johnston should be in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully this year too. So did you want to go ahead and get into some shout outs?
Yeah, you got the drop.
Week number, what are we in December?
Oh, this guy.
I say week. This is 1 year and 2 months. And a shout out drop.
It's becoming to be like what they call it, a running joke with the shout outs, but it's all good, man. It's all good.
I'll have it in 20. I'll definitely have it in 2018.
2018, that'll be a goal for 2018.
This resolution is to,
dude,
it's, you know what it is? It's one of those things that's so easy to do that I just say,
dude, I'm gonna have to pay somebody on Fiverr to do this, man, or something. I don't know, man. All right, guys, let me get into some of these shout outs. I ain't holding you to nothing, bro. All right, let's get into some of these shout outs, man. All right, so we got Ada Barnes. We got Big KGB, who's actually a wrestler, is going to be coming to the U.S. I think he's from Australia, be coming to the U.S. To 2018. Actually, we'll be here in San Antonio, so we're going to be able to get an interview from him. So that's coming. We have Butts and Seats podcast. Thank you so much for the support. Live from the Armory. Thank you for the support. Undisputed Future podcast NXT. Support there. We got Wrestling with Unicorns. Frank Von Dudley. Go Bella, which is Bella Doomkitty, aka Bella. Can't say the rest of that word. And then we got the Broadcast with a K podcast showing us some love. Appreciate that. We've got Checked Out in Jersey podcast and Matt Min podcast. Thank you for showing some love and support with us, guys. Mustafa Ali gave us a little love this week. So tomorrow, Ronaldo, thank you so much. And last but not least, want to give a shout out to 5 Meeks Comics. They're out in Austin. I think they got like a comic book store or something like that. But yo, thanks for the follow and showing us love. And hope to get you guys actually in the podcast, since you guys are pretty big podcast or wrestling fans too. So that concludes the shout outs for the week, guys.
Yeah. Great week in wrestling. Really good week. Solid week in wrestling. You always know it's a good week in wrestling. Always the more dominant show. And SmackDown's not just a go-home show. Got a good card and Clash of Champions coming up. It'll be interesting to see Jinder Mahal and AJ Styles go. So, yeah, I'm your boy Ben Goosen. We're signing off. We got the award show coming up here in a couple weeks. It's going to be the second annual IRWP Awards. Sage and I are working. Obviously, the obvious ones will be out there. The Tag Team of the Year, Superstar of the Year, and things like that. They've come up with some good stuff here. I appreciate it. Snowy day. I'm about to hop outside in here in a little bit. Check out this of snow we got here. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to sleep in. I wish I would have left my laptop at work, but I didn't. So it still just means I got to log in. Nice little weekend coming up. We got the shows coming up. We will be back here live next week. We'll have the audio show up. We got some fun stuff planned. Got some good stuff planned for 2018 too. There's your boy Sage the Mock. Sage the Mock. Look at him. Yep. No. So we are out again, everybody, with that Cleveland Browns sweater. Man, we're out. Sage, take them away. What do we always tell them to do?
Y'all know the drill. Oh, wait. Peace, love, respect one another, love one another. Y'all keep it real. Y'all know the drill. I should say y'all know the drill. Keep it real.
There you go. Hey, y'all, take it easy. Keep it real. Hey, everybody, what is up? I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. We had a hell of a show today. Hey, just wanted to say the opinions are that of the host not of the IRWP. And speaking of IRWP, go ahead and visit us, irwp.us. There you can find links to our Twitter profiles, Instagram accounts, and our Patreon account. If you want to help us out, donate a little something, show some love to the podcast. Hey, show us some love as well by leaving some comments. Leave some hate mail. Talk bad about us. Write us the worst amount of stars. Give us thumbs downs. Give us thumbs up on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Help us boost up those rankings. At the end of the day, peace, love, unity, and respect. Remember, love one another. Say what's up to a wrestling fan out there. And at the end of the day, just keep it real.